Hello, friends. As an astrologer, there are moments of embarrassment when your own family or loyal clients will protest that as an astrologer you neglected to warn them about impending difficult times in their life. One advantage of astrology is that it can assist identify the high risk time in a person's life, and most people at some point in their lives have to go through some periods of crisis, but finding those periods is not an easy work in astrology, and as an astrologer you also know this. We are going to discuss about one specific transit that Professor K.S. Krishnamurti has pointed out, and that specific transit could result in major setback in a person's life. Professor Krishnamurti has mentioned quite a lot about that specific transit. Let's look at what he has mentioned. He has mentioned that this time could bring plenty of challenging barriers to overcome. And then one may be scammed or defrauded. This is very important, that one might be scammed or defrauded during that specific transit. All matters will be in a state of suspension, and there will be major obstacles and major failures. Professor Krishnamurti has mentioned more about that specific transit. He has mentioned there will be chaotic conditions. One will be vulnerable to scams that we already discussed. Health and vitality will be impacted, and difficulties during traveling. Generally, hopes will be dashed. So this particular period that Professor Krishnamurti has pointed out seems to be something of great concern for any person, because this seems to be very negative from various angles. So, wouldn't it be nice to determine the potential difficult moment from the horoscope and alert someone in advance? So, I'm going to discuss a rare KP astrology technique that can be very helpful over here. This technique is based on the transit of Neptune. So this is one important thing to remember over here, that this technique is based on the transit of Neptune. See, the since Krishnamurti Paddhati is based on the Vishottari Dasha and the 27 Nakshatra, so the general feeling is that the planets such as Neptune and Uranus cannot be the part of the predictive framework. But Professor Krishnamurti has a very forward-looking outlook, and if you read his books and articles, then you will notice that he has paid quite an attention to planets like Neptune and Pluto as well. So this technique, the one that we are going to discuss, is based on the transit of Neptune. Neptune has a lot of positive things to contribute in a person's life, but since here we are discussing about the negative impact of Neptune's transit, So let's look at some of the negative attributes of Neptune that Professor Krishnamurti himself has mentioned. And what are those? It says that because of Neptune, one will have many secret enemies. So one of the things that is constantly pointed out by the professor for this specific Neptune transit is about one getting scammed or defrauded or duped. So, and that comes from the one of the major attributes of Neptune, that one will have many secret enemies. And it also points to all the underground and nefarious schemes, scandals, disgrace, secret sorrows. These are all donated by Neptune. And the feeling of some unknown danger, that's also caused by Neptune. So these are some of the negative things about the Neptune. Now, since we are talking about Neptune, let us get some facts handy related to the transit of Neptune. So Neptune is a very slow moving planet. So it takes about 14 years to travel one sign. So in a 1 year, it's just traveling 2.2 degrees. That's an approx value. And to complete the one circle of the zodiac, that's complete all the 12 signs, it takes 165 years. So you can see that the average lifespan of a person, which is deemed to be 120 years, is less than the one complete circle, the time that Neptune takes, 165 years to complete one circle. So these are some basic facts related to the transit of Neptune. Now let's look at the actual rule, what Professor Krishnamurti's rule is regarding the transit of Neptune. So this is the rule, and I would read it out for you, and you can make a note of it. This is a very simple rule given by Professor Krishnamurti. In the month when Neptune passes over the degree and minute of the position of the Lagna, that's ascendant, or moon or sun, one must expect setbacks. So this is a very simple rule from Professor Krishnamurti about the transit of Neptune that can bring major setback in a person's life. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to apply this rule to a horoscope and identify the periods of major setback for that person based on the transit of Neptune as explained by Professor Krishnamurti. So let's navigate to Jyotish portal for the practicals. So we're going to click on the free horoscope option, and we are going to make use of this birth data. The 19 December 1999, birth time is 12:40 and place is New Delhi. Now one thing that I would like to point out about the UI is, this particular form is, or the settings is, that since we are talking about or we will be focusing on the transit of Neptune, so you might want to enable this particular option, the one that says disable outer planets. So when you enable this option, then it will start showing the outer planets in the Kundali or the horoscope diagram. Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, those kind of planets will also be displayed. Let's populate the value. So we got our date as December 19, 1999. Time is 12:40 and city is New Delhi. Outer planet has been enabled. So this is the chart of that person that we are going to work on. The first thing I will do is to make a note of the rules that we discuss and also the facts related to the transit of Neptune. So I made a copy of that. So I'm going to paste it over here. We discussed these things that it takes 14 years for Neptune to travel in one sign and about 2.2 degrees in 1 year. And then this is the rule that we discuss, that in the month when Neptune passes over the degree and minute of the position of the Lagna or moon or sun, one must expect deception. So what we are going to do is to make a list of the degree of Neptune in the horoscope, and then the ascendant, the Lagna, moon and the sun. So let's first look at where the Neptune is. So Neptune is in Capricorn, about 9 degrees. So that's what Neptune is. That's what Neptune is. Capricorn, about 9 degree. And then let's look at the sun and the moon. Sun is Sagittarius, 3 degrees. So let's make a note of sun is you can see over here, sun is Sagittarius, 3 degree 10 minutes, and moon is Aries, 14 degree 54, almost 15 degrees. And now what is left is the ascendant. So ascendant is Pisces, 9 degree 20 minutes. Now having prepared this, all we have to do is when Neptune will be transiting over these degrees or not. It could be transiting or it will never transit. We will see in this chart. So let's start with Sun. Now Sun is in Sagittarius and Neptune is already in Capricorn. So if you look at this horoscope, then you see that we'll look at the Lagna chart. So we find that the Neptune is already here and Sun is in the Sagittarius. And since we saw that Neptune takes 165 years, so Neptune has to make a full circle of this whole horoscope to actually transit over the degree of the Sun. So we can say this is ruled out. This is not possible because this event will only happen after about 160 years. So this is ruled out. Now next is the Neptune is in Capricorn and ascendant is in Pisces. So this is what is possible. This is possible. So now, based on the transit speed of the Neptune, we can do some rough calculation, and then we will go to the ephemeris section in the Jyotish portal to identify that particular month when Neptune will be transiting Pisces 920. So we can write that when Neptune transits this part, then setback. Okay, similarly for this also, the moon. Now we know that it takes 14 years for Neptune to be in one sign. So from Pisces to Capricorn, that means that Neptune will travel Neptune has to travel about 60 degrees, I would say. Because Neptune is in Capricorn, so it about 9 degrees, so it will take 30 degrees to reach Aquarius, and then another 30 degrees to reach Pisces, right? So Neptune has to travel 60 degrees, and it takes 14 years to travel one sign. So it means after about 28 years, after 28 years, Neptune will be in Pisces 9 degrees. That's just a approx calculation, and so, but we know that we have to now, in the year of birth, that's 1999 plus 28, so this becomes 2027. So that's just a approx calculation we did, that in 2027 Neptune should be in Pisces around 9 degrees. So now we will go to the ephemeris section. So we have this ephemeris section. You can see on the top there is an option that says ephemeris, and we will look into 2027 and see where Neptune is. So this is the ephemeris section, and you can see this last but one column where the degree of Neptunes are mentioned for each of the day. So we know that we have to look at 2027. So I have taken 2027 and January month. So 2027 January month, you see the Neptune is in the Pisces 7 degree, and we have to identify the Neptune's transit for about 9 or 10 degrees. So since it's a slow moving planet, so let me look at what happens in the month of March. Now if you look at the month of March, which starts from here actually, you see now Neptune is in 13, right? And we have to reach at 920. That is what our ascendant is. This horoscope ascendant is 920. So around March 19th, we can see that on March 19th, this particular date, the Neptune is transiting on Pisces 9:20. So let's now go back to the horoscope and note down this particular date. So we are going to update our notes over here and mention that March 9th, 2027. This is the a date when Neptune will be transiting in Pisces 9 degree, which happens to be the ascendant of this person. So this is the first major period that needs some concern on the part of this person. Now the next one is we have to look at when Neptune moves over to Aries. So from the Pisces, 30 degree means another 14 years, and then another Pisces 9 degree plus 30. So that becomes Aries 9 degree approximately, and then another maybe 5 degree more. So we will follow just the same calculation. We will go to the ephemery and identify the period when Neptune will be in Aries, about 14 degrees. So when we do that basic elementary calculation for finding out when when Neptune will be in Aries, then the period that comes is around 2043. So let's go to 2043. So this is the ephemery for this particular period, 2043. Let's look at Neptune. You see now Neptune is in 13 degree. And to reach 14 degree, let's look at what happens in the month of April. So you can see that around, I would say, you see around 10th of April, right? This is what it says, 10th of April 2043. The Neptune is in 14 degrees. So that's another period that we have to make a note of. So we'll go back to our horoscope and update the notes. So we'll put a note over here about this particular date. When Neptune will be in Aries. Why? Because Moon is in Aries. Moon is in Aries. And Neptune will be in Aries, 14 degrees. Pretty much is going to be traveling over the same degree on this date. And similarly for the ascendant, Sun is ruled out. So you see how simple this technique is that is given by Professor Krishnamurti to find out almost the exact dates. But it is a good idea to let the user know about the month rather than giving a specific date and trying to create some kind of a fear psychosis in a user's mind is not the right thing to do. So, but for this particular horoscope, it can be mentioned that March 9 or the month of March 2027, when his age would be about 28 years. And then again in this particular year 2043, when his age will be about 44 years. So the month of March and the month of April in 2043. These are the two potentially high risk time in this person's life. And sun, we saw sun has been ruled out. So this is how you identify and let the user know about ahead of time that about the negative transit of Neptune. Now, if you've understood the slow moving transit of Neptune, then in many horoscope you will see this is not even applicable. So in one way you can say that the Neptune's negative transit yoga is not even found in this person's horoscope. Once you share these dates of possible bad transit, then the follow-up questions that I have usually noticed are that the is it possible to uncover the source and type of fraud. See, the Neptune transit 50-60% is related to some kind of a scam, duping or defrauding of the person. This is not an ordinary simple kind of a fraud. This is a very deep rooted fraud of such a magnitude that it creates a major setback in a person's life. So obviously the question is that is it possible to uncover the source and type of fraud? And the second question that usually I have noticed is that how bad will the impact be? Means that will this transit result in an impact that then the person is not able to come out from this negative effect. So both of these, I have worked on both of these lines, but I'm going to share this in some other videos. But yes, it is possible to uncover the source. Another question is related to the remedies. So if somebody is expecting the Neptune transit in the coming years, obviously many of them are going to hit the panic button and then they look for the remedies. Remedies are there, the Parashar remedies that I always recommend those Parashar remedies, but I cannot discuss in this video, otherwise video is going to be too long. But one suggestion that if you are expecting the Neptune transit to happen in coming years, and if you decide to fall for that Jadoo Tona of Lal Kitab, the Agori, Tantra Mantra, and those silly half-baked astro vastu remedies of keeping this object and that object here and there and doing some body art, then you may be certain that you are inviting more scammers to your door. I will discuss the proper remedy in some other video. So that's all in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching.